that don't move the needle enough to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Zeke does. Dak does not.
Zeke is good, but I mean, he's not like Derrick Henry, where he's gonna put the whole team on his back and carry to the AFC Championship game.
Because we don't run him enough.
Yeah, no, but I mean, how many running backs are that good, anyways?
But if we gave Ezekiel Elliott, the only reason that they give Derrick Henry the ball 40 times a game is because Ryan Tannehill couldn't hold my jock strap.
Dude, well, he's AFC Championship quarterback Ryan Tannehill, so put some respect there.
Ew.
Yeah, dude, I'm just saying. Like, my sister-in-law is a big Cowboys fan, and she doesn't agree with me, but I'm just like, ooh, you better not pay a whole bunch of slightly above average dudes a whole bunch of money, because that does not turn into wins. You can ask my Utah Jazz that question. Overpaying above average guys that aren't superstars to stay around, that does not turn into championships. I can promise you that.
Yeah, if we pay Dak Prescott what he's asking for, I am going to march into Jerry Jones's office and just demand 15 years of my life back.
Yeah, dude. That's speaking of. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But I mean, speaking of Jazz, like they got this Rudy Gobert coming up on the Supermax. He's eligible for because he's won Defensive Player of the Year twice in a row. Yeah. Can you imagine? I love Rudy. I think he's really good. I think he impacts the game as like a top 15, top 20 player in terms of impact. But can you imagine paying him like $47 million a year or however much it is?
No, I can't.
But I mean, that's the same thing that the Cowboys are going to do with Dak if they pay him elite money. Is you're paying a non-elite guy elite money, and it screws over your whole franchise.
Yeah, I'm just in if the Yankees don't win a World Series this year, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what will happen. What's the next question?
Okay. Next question. Man, my phone's blowing up right now. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated. Okay. Which incoming freshman will have the biggest contribution this season? Oh, this is from Levon Ponder, our guy.
Hey, friend of the program.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our best friends, Levon Ponder.
Yeah.
Him and Brad Kyer are two best friends.
My very good friend that used to play for the Miami Hurricanes.
Yes, our very good friend, Levon.
Yeah. No, we love you, Levon. Thanks for coming on last week. And let's see. Go ahead, Marsh. Who's the biggest contribution from a freshman?
I'm saying Jalen Knighton. Just
okay.
Because I'm not very confident in our running backs staying healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, Chaney's already experiencing health issues. Robert Burns always has health issues. And I think Jalen Knighton is going to thrive in Rhett Lashley's offense. And I really do think – I wrote an article about this a few weeks ago. But Jalen Knighton, I mean, I think he's just a better fit for Don Chaney or than Don Chaney. And not discrediting Don Chaney at all. I think he's going to be great at Miami. But I think with him battling, injuries and everything, I think Knighton, we're gonna see him a lot this year.
Yeah. So Knighton would be in my top two. Might even be one, but just for the sake of being different, I'll go with my other choice. And that's Avonte Williams, because we're gonna need him to play some corner and some. I'm worried about our corners, man. I'm really worried about our corners. We're going to have to take 5. In this next recruiting class, we're going to have to give out 5 scholarships to corners.
Yeah.
And that's because we don't have any bodies. So I think we need Avonte Williams to play corner and to be good from day one this season.
Yeah, and I think he will.
I hope so, but I'm going to go with that. But, I mean, if you hadn't said Jalen Knighton, I probably would have said him, because I want to echo everything he said. He's a great fit. I think he could be huge for Rhett Lashley.
The Rooster.
Yeah, I love it, man. All right, next question is from Casey Nevajay, another frequent mailbag friend of the pod. So he says, who is your dream guest to have on this podcast? And each of us can only pick one person.
That's not fair. Let's do top 3 instead.
He specifies only one person.
Well, it's our podcast. We can do what we want.
All right.
Let's do top 3, because I can't just pick one.
Okay, that's fine with me.
You?
That'd be tough.
Yeah, exactly. All right, top 3, you go.
Okay. Would you mind going first? I'm trying to send out a message real quick.
Okay, fine. Let's see. Braxton Berrios.
You mean your very best friend, Braxton Berrios?
My very best friend, Braxton Berrios.
I actually heard that you two are related. Is that true?
We have the same birthday. I'm not here to. We might be related. We may in fact be related. But yeah, we're just best friends. It's just whatever. I would also I want Ja'Cory Harris to come on this podcast.
Okay.
I
hope if he does come on the podcast that he's never looked at my Twitter feed before.
Yeah, same. I've had to delete some. Third would probably have to be, and this would be like, I would want to, like, if we were ever in Florida and we could have like a face-to-face interview with him. I would want Coach Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, dang.
My other best friend.
That was one of my 3 for sure. So, of course, Jimmy, dude.
I love Jimmy Johnson so very much. I love him.
I know people, like, I don't know. To me, he is the embodiment of the Miami Hurricanes program.
Yeah.
Like, he's
the GOAT.
He's like the swaggiest 70-something-year-old dude of all time.
His hair is perfect.
Yeah.
He wears flip-flops.
Oh, dude. Jimmy is of course on there. So if we could get a very candid interview, like lots of truth, stuff that, like, I don't know. If we could get a very candid and open and honest interview, I would want to have Mark Richt on here.
Oh, Mark Richt, yeah, him.
Just because I don't know. I'd be really interested to hear everything that went down during his 3 years. Because, I've been thinking a lot about it. I'm going to do some stuff on my blog about it. But, his 3-year tenure was kind of an aberration in the last 15 years in that, we had really, really good teams. Easily the 2 best teams of the last 15 years in his first 2 seasons. And then the wheels kind of came off the last season.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, but look at the players he had to deal with, though.
Absolutely.
Cozy Perry got suspended, Jaron Williams got suspended, Jeff Thomas got kicked off the team. Like, there was locker room mutiny, and if we haven't had that problem like almost every year for the last 15 years, I'd blame Richt. But we've had problems with that way before he ever got here.
Yeah.
We had problems with it last year. So I don't blame Mark Richt for that. I'm not saying he's guiltless, but I'm not going to put most of the fault on him. So I'd really be interested to hear some of the stuff he had to say.
Yeah, he would be a great interview. I love Coach Richt, and late happy birthday to him.
Yeah, happy birthday, Coach Richt. Come on the pod.
Happy birthday, Coach. Can you hear us?
And then let's see, the last one. Dude, how cool would it be to have Ed Reed on here? Like Chief of Staff Ed Reed.
Hall of Famer Ed Reed.
Yeah.
And Chief of Staff Ed Reed, yeah. He would be, that would be, if we ever got him, I say we quit the podcast that day because we can't really get any better.
Yeah, right.
Unless Braxton Berrios, followed him.
Yeah.
Best friend Braxton Berrios. But yeah, Ed Reed, Ed Reed is one of our best friends too. He's the best friend of all Canes fans. He is the greatest Miami Hurricane.
Dude, when I raise my children, I won't tell them that Santa comes to give them presents on Christmas Day. It's going to be Ed Reed comes down the chimney.
I'm gonna tell my son, who I named Braxton, that story.
Yeah. On Christmas Eve, go to sleep so Ed Reed can come down the chimney and give you a national championship.
That's good. That's a point.
You can bring your program back from the dead twice, hopefully.
Hope don't jinx us now.
I know, right?
Gosh.
Let's see. Okay, I think that's it. Move on to our guest. So let me check our messages.
Will you do the honors of introducing our guest?
Yeah, he's ready. I'm gonna call him.
Yo.
Duck, what's up, brother? How you doing?
All good, man. I figured this out. Not bad for an old guy.
What's going on, Mr. Duck? I can't believe you're on our podcast right now.
Dude, we're on the podcast. I only go on the freshest podcasts. You know that.
Freaking talking about, bro.
So we got our second guest for the day is BetterDuck from Twitter. Everyone knows him. Everyone loves him. Well, almost everyone loves him. Some people can't handle the heat. And, yeah, man, thanks for coming on. Love to have you. You're probably one of my favorite Twitter followers.
Awesome,
you make
thanks.
me laugh every time I see your name.
I appreciate it. I just realized you guys have 4 first names. That's like enough to start an 80s heavy metal band.
That's a very good point. I've never even...
And also, you guys could also go by the name of Jordan Marsh, which you're too young to remember, but that used to be a high-end department store down here where all the hot chicks bought their jeans in the 80s.
Yeah.
Back when the Canes were good.
Well, let's get into that, Duck. I mean, because you know why I love you on Twitter is because you're harsh, but I mean you're always like you say the things that no one else has the guts to say. So how are you feeling about this program right now?
I couldn't feel any worse about the program right now. I'm not trying to be over dramatic, but let me just say this right off the top. I've been on Twitter, I think, since November of 2007. I haven't really found many Hurricane fans that have been on there longer than me. And since then, the team has basically stunk. So nobody on Twitter has ever experienced me when we've had a good year.
Fair enough. I mean, did you not consider 2017 a good year?
Up until the slide at the end.
Yeah.
That
was tough to watch.
And then part of the thing, like, I heard Roman's show. That was great. You guys did a great job with him. And Roman's a smart dude and knows a lot about offense and everything. And I don't pretend to know anything about football other than being a super fan and growing up in Broward County, which is the premier football county in America, not Dade.
Yes. Hey, I'm a Broward County native myself, Duck. Preach.
Right. So, St. Thomas wins the national championship every other year down here. They put the most first rounders in the league. They put the better players in. But Dade gets all the credit because Miami's just a bigger, more vast city. But it's all about Broward. I know winning football when I see it. And what we saw last year was an absolute abomination. I try to live by the sort of the 3-word or 3-phrase statement, which is run the ball, stop the run, win the kicking game.
We couldn't give those.
We didn't really do any of that last year.
That's fireable. Man, I can understand if your kicker gets knocked out of a game and you're unable to try field goals for the remainder of the game. That happens. What I can't understand is going into games afraid to attempt a 30-yarder. And that's what we did. Like, that is losing football. Forget Enos and a sophisticated passing attack and how long the drop back is and how long a quarterback's in the pocket. If you can't run the ball on first down and you can't kick the ball when you need to, you're a horrible, horrible football team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Doug, go ahead, Marsh.
Well, I was going to ask, Duck, because, I mean, if I remember correctly, you were not a fan of the Manny Diaz hire. I mean, I know that last offseason you were saying, I mean, you were the only one who was saying how 2019 could be a bad year. What kind of gave you that impression, or why weren't you a fan of the Coach Diaz hire?
Well, because I've been through this. We went through this with Butch Davis, who had NFL experience at the time that we hired him. He had a few Super Bowl rings. And when we got Butch Davis, the team made every single mistake it could make. Butch Davis made every single mistake. He started Kenny Kelly over Kenny Dorsey.